What's up, guys? We're back. It's a Monday in the shop, and we finally received the subframe. Man, this thing was so difficult to get, and hard to actually have it arrive here at the shop. But the good news is we now have it, and this should be what we need to get this car situated. Oh man, it's a lot of work though, right? Because when you look at this, I don't know if it's a little bit difficult for you guys to visualize it or not, but this is basically what the engine and the transmission mount to in this center empty section. I think one of the front engine mounts goes here, the other one somewhere in the back there. Here's a mount too, I guess, for the transmission. Power steering rack rides in this portion, and sway bar connects somewhere right here too. I think these are the mounting points for the sway bar. But as you can see, it's a big hunk of aluminum. Now it's fairly heavy, but for actual subframe, it feels pretty light. So generally speaking, like, aluminum is not as strong as steel. So when this thing got into an accident, I don't know where exactly the subframe made contact, but somewhere in this area and the side there, based on the witness mark we saw, and it caused that cracking, right? You guys should remember from previous videos that the welds are all cracked on the one that's currently on the car. And it had a big old crack right there, and that's, I'm sure, was heavily influencing the problem we have with the wheel, with it being, right up against the fender. Now, I was cautioned too by a person who works on these heavily that I could also have a bent lower control arm and possibly even the spindle itself. And sometimes it's tough to tell until you really take it off. So we'll see. I'm hoping that's not the case, because that's even more money to spend. But I've already started looking around, and I did find that I can come across one of those lower control arms for not too much money. There's a couple of them right now on eBay, so if it comes down to it, I can order that. The spindle I didn't really look at too much. I need to get some prices on that, but we'll see. I'm almost tempted to just preemptively order it just in case, because at least one of the vendors that had it, if I ordered it today, I could get it in 2 to 4 days. So with this being Monday, that should mean, depending on postal delivery people, etc., that I could get it by the weekend, which would be great, because I need to start working on this thing. I don't know how much I'm gonna do today, but I think I will at least try to position the car. I think I'm gonna pull it up a little bit further so that I'm not, right up against the 63. I'll have some room here, and I don't know. I guess I'll do that. I'll figure it out, but I'm gonna pull it forward a bit. I need to pull this engine cover off and start to figure out how I'm gonna set up that support bar, because I need to get that thing going and in there 100% before I start unbolting all the components, suspension and whatnot, to allow me to lower this subframe. So, although this part itself looks okay, doesn't look that big of a deal, but this is a significant job, at least for me, being somebody who doesn't really work on these cars every day. I'm sure I can do it, but there's a slight intimidation factor. But either way, we're not even going to worry about it. We're just going to do it. Again, with this particular car, there's no customer. I own this car, so I'm the customer, which is kind of a good thing. For most of the projects here, or so far all of the projects here, are my projects. So, if something goes wrong, it's on me. So it's in my best interest to fix it, and to fix it right. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna think about it a little bit more and maybe pull the trigger on that control arm, just so that we don't have any other roadblocks. Because I swear it took like 3 weeks for me just to get this subframe. And I guess, come to find out, what I hadn't realized is these cars are fairly rare. I believe this particular model of Acura, they only built these things from 2014 to 2020. Yeah, so you know, a 6-year run, and this one is year one, 2014. I got to check the production numbers, but you don't find these cars every day is what I'm getting at, and it's tough to find the parts for them. Fortunately, I found this one, but it was, I want to say it was in, what did the guy say, Memphis, or I can't even remember. It was somewhere down south. I don't know if it's listed on the tag. No, that's just their inventory tag. But yeah, so it was one of those things where a local scrap or junkyard said, oh yeah, they listed on the website that they have it. When I called to get the part, come to find out they didn't have it at their location, but they're in some partnership nationwide with a bunch of other scrap yards, and they just had it expedited from that location to their location, which, I mean, it's all good. That works out good for me. That's one of the problems with something this big is you can't just get this dropped off at your house. You know, like the mailman is not going to carry this, and for whatever reason, it looks like UPS and FedEx, they probably don't do this either, or it may cost a crazy amount of money. So they want to ship this kind of stuff freight, you know, in a big truck. And although I have a shop, I got other stuff going on, and to try to get a freight delivery, I didn't want to take the chance of missing it. So it ended up working out. The only issue I had with these particular people is I was supposed to get this part last week, Thursday, and here it is on Monday, so there was a few days delay, but so far at the end of the day, looks to be a quality part, so I'm not going to complain. I wish they would have included a few more of the nuts and bolts just in case I run into a problem, but whatever, we'll figure that out, cross that bridge when we come to it. But so yeah, now I guess it's go time. I need to start doing some work, and I'm gonna jump on this thing and get cracking real soon. Like I said, I'm just gonna try to get the car into position today and get it jacked up, and maybe even get that support bar mounted under the hood so that we can, support the engine. Yep. So I'm happy. It looks like it's finally gonna, or at least we're finally on the path to getting the car back on the road. The other good news too is I finally have all the paperwork issues sorted out with this car, and so now there's no problem for me to go ahead and invest. It's mine. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but in a couple of the videos back, I told you I slowed down on this a bit because there was some potential drama with the paperwork. That can always ruin things if you go too far down that path and then you end up having a paperwork issue. But anyway, it worked out and we're good. So we're going to get going on the work. We're going to make it happen, and we're going to be driving this car soon. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, too, once we knock out this repair, we'll start tackling some of the cosmetic stuff, because it has a bit of cosmetic stuff. And honestly, this car, sadly, like somebody damaged the paint. There's a lot of little spots where there's sticky residue, because at some point this glass was broken. Maybe they taped something over it, but there's other stuff I just can't understand, like somebody had all kinds of caulk or some kind of crap all over it. So that kind of stuff is going to cause a need for a repaint, but I'm the type of guy who that can come later. And with this one, I don't know if I'm going to try and paint it. I don't know. It looks to have some kind of special paint job. I'll investigate it, but what the hell? Maybe we will paint it. Why not? We painted this, we painted this, so why not? So anyway, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Let's focus on the task at hand. I'm going to get to work on pulling this subframe or engine cradle. All right, guys, stay tuned. There's a bunch more work to go. I'm your host, Shawnee C. at Motor City Customs. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. If you're enjoying the content, hit the like button. And most of all, just stick around, because I got more to show you guys. All right, guys, Motor City Customs out of Detroit, Michigan. We're out of here. Peace.